NFLeros con el Salón de la Fama, Terrell Owens. T.O., you look like you can still play, man. I think
your eyes are good. Your eyes are good. I can still play. You know
I know you do. I know you do. So it's Super Bowl week. Yeah. Everybody's pumped up. Yeah. What are you expecting between this revenge for the 49ers against the Chiefs from 4 years ago?
Well, hopefully, Purdy stays in the game for 4 quarters. I think the outcome will be different. Obviously, I think defense will play a big part on both sides, especially the rush defense. Offensively, 49ers, they have the weapons to make it happen. And, again, you talk about that guy Patrick Mahomes over there with the Kansas City Chiefs. I think we're well aware of what he can do. I think the key, if they can minimize and kind of slow down Travis Kelce as much as they can, then they give the 49ers give themselves a chance to win because he did damage against the Ravens. I think 11 targets, 11 catches, over 100 yards, and then obviously a score. That was the demise for the Baltimore Ravens.
You spoke about the rush defense. What do you make of these Niners that the Packers ran the ball a lot, Lions did as well? They had to make adjustments for this week.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think they know that they haven't played well defensively. I'm sure the cliche is like defense wins championships, and so hopefully that'll be the quote for after the game. So they know they got to show up some things. Obviously, look at the film, see what they need to do best, and again, get after the quarterback. They got to make Patrick Mahomes uncomfortable. It's hard to say how they're going to do against him because this guy, he can play inside the pocket, he can play outside the pocket, he can make a play out of no play. So everybody has to play their assignments and stay attached to their men.
You were in Miami 4 years ago for that game. I don't know if you were at the stadium, but I remember you were in Miami. But how have you seen Patrick Mahomes' growth as a football player and what he's accomplished so far?
I think the more you play the game, the game slows down. Obviously, you want to hone your craft. You want to perfect it, work on your imperfections, your deficiencies in your game. And, again, if you surround yourself, and obviously the organization has done that. 4 years ago, they had Tyreek Hill. And, obviously they was almost like the greatest show on earth on turf. And, obviously, like I said, they've had to, obviously make up for the loss of what he did from a receiving standpoint. Those receivers, they struggled throughout the course of the year. So, again, that's where the game kind of balances out a little bit this year because those receivers are not as good as the receivers 4 years ago.
On the receivers end, who do you think has the edge right now for Sunday?
Receiver, I would have to say the San Francisco 49ers. You got to look at what Debo does, Brandon Ayuk. But I think the MVP, the X factor would be CMC, Christian McCaffrey. Obviously, Purdy showed what he can do inside the pocket. And sometimes when pressure gets to you, it's fight or flight. I think a lot of people saw what he's not used to doing, and that's running with the ball. But again, that's the growth of a young quarterback. Only his second year, but look at what he did when they needed him most. Take what the defense gives you.
You played for Andy Reid. What big picture? Just where does Andy Reid stand in football's history?
I mean, it's just not without question. I mean, he's one of the top, if not one of the best quarterbacks that the NFL has seen. I know a lot of people speak about Belichick, but if you think about what Andy has done, he's won everywhere he's been. I know my first experience was with the Philadelphia Eagles. We went to the Super Bowl. We came up 3 points short. But, again, he did wonders for my career, understanding offensively what I brought to the table. That offensive mind, I had literally one of my best years as a pro, just a year or so that I played with the San Francisco 49ers. So, again, he's going to try to find ways to exploit the defense of San Francisco, and if anybody can do it, he can. Those receivers just have to, hold on to the ball.
Even with one leg, you had an amazing year. But, T.O., you mentioned Belichick. Has it surprised you that he hasn't found a job yet?
No, not at all. Not from what I've heard, from people that have played there. Again, he's just, I think, for what I've heard, he's not really a player's coach. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but you got to be able to be relatable to these guys. Obviously, the game has changed a little bit. And so I think a lot of people have noticed, you would think somebody with his pedigree, his resume, would have landed a job immediately. But obviously, there's something to it.
Speaking of M&Ms, are you red is the color, or what's your favorite M&M?
I love red. I love red. Red is my color. And then I was very, very fortunate to be a part of this commercial, peanut butter M&Ms. And like I said, I'm a fan of M&Ms candies anyway, but you got to taste the peanut butter ones. They're delicious.
Talk to me about how was it working with Dan Marino, Bruce Smith, almost champions. I mean, you guys deserve that Vince Lombardi, but just how was it working with that? And I can imagine all the jokes. What was played in there?
Yeah, there's some good and bad to it, but we're champs in our own little right, and honestly, it's great to work with those two guys, Dan and Bruce Smith, and then obviously we had a surprise guest, to shoot the commercial with. So again, just to be a part of this, I couldn't turn it down.
Yo, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for your time.
All right, thank you.